Hey Eagle fans, it's EaglefanKarl. This is going to be the third and final video I have in a series of videos where there was a conversation I had last weekend with my two cousins, Craig and Steven. The first two we dealt with, we were talking about offense and defense, so I'll put links up there in the corner. You can check those out if you haven't seen those yet. This one is going to be about predictions for the season and looking forward as to what we think is going to happen. So enjoy the video going through the season and figuring out what we think is going to be the ultimate outcome. All right, so let's go ahead and turn our attention to predictions. And Steven's got an important question for us here to start this off. Steven, go ahead.
So, yeah, my big question, as it is every year, is who wins the all-important Jets versus Eagles fourth preseason game?
What's the spread on that game? I get a kick out of seeing, when I check, like ESPN to see maybe what time the game starts or whatever, because preseason you never know. Yeah. And it has on there what the line of the game is. I'm like, who is betting preseason football games? I mean, you really have to be bad if you're betting preseason football games. I mean, that's degenerate status, I think, if you're putting money on preseason games. So let's see if I can do this here, though. Let's do a quick W's and L's for the season. I'm gonna see if I can bring the schedule up here. So looking at the schedule, let's do some quick W's and L's on this game. Like I had said before, that first game, if we lose that first game, it's going to be panic mode, I think. And Steven, you'll appreciate this, but your sister and brother-in-law are coming down for that game.
Yep.
And they're going to watch the game down here with me. Steven's brother-in-law is from Maryland originally, so he roots for that stupid Washington football team. So hopefully I get to rub it in his face.
Yeah.
And the fact that and maybe I'll even convince him to come on the show if they lose. So at any rate, so hopefully that's a W. Can we all agree on that?
Yes. A bigger concern for me is our church is we're going to have a potluck meal after church, and then we're going to watch the game all together. And so if we start to lose, I'm very concerned about our church, keeping it holy.
The pastor's going to lose his testimony?
Yes. I'm really hoping that doesn't happen.
Greg, you agree that we think that's a win?
That's a win.
All right. Let's week 2 at Atlanta on Sunday Night Football. What do you think?
I have this one as
a loss.
Yeah, I have it as a win. I just think they're they have no heart. I can't stand those guys. And
Atlanta?
Yeah, and I think we'll come in and we'll beat them at home. I'm just not afraid of them.
Okay, I have it as a loss too. I'm chalking it up more to early season rustiness. I think it was an early season game we lose because of that. I think that's the one. So for that reason, I have that as a loss. And I think Atlanta's going to be really good this year, actually. And I think they might win that division. But we're not going to go into a full breakdown on everything. So I have that as a loss. I agree with Craig on that. Week 3, are we losing to the Detroit Lions at home?
No.
Craig?
No, we're not.
No, I agree. Yeah, we're not losing that game. So the real fun game, though, I think for the first quarter of the season is that Thursday night game at Lambeau Field. Any chance we win that game?
I have that one as a loss.
I have it as a win. I just don't feel like they're the same Packers as they. I could be wrong, but
I actually have it as a win too. There's always one game that I think the Eagles seem to win that you don't necessarily expect, and I think this is the one. I think it's going to be akin to the Super Bowl year when we went down to Carolina and beat them on the short week on a Thursday night. And I think the Packers are a good team. Don't get me wrong. I think they certainly have the ability to make the playoffs and even win their division. But I think that this is going to be a game where the Eagles are going to be geared up. They know it's the national audience. So I think that they're gonna win this game. So it sounds like pretty much we all have them 3-1 at this point then, right? All right. So moving on to week 5. Interesting trivia question. There are only 2 teams that the Eagles have never lost a regular season game to. One of them is the New York Jets. Does that continue?
Yeah.
Well, not now.
Thanks a lot, Eagle fan. I think it's a win.
Yeah, I think we all agree that one's a win. What about week 6? Going to Minnesota, playing at the scene where we won the Super Bowl. So we are undefeated in that stadium. Do we win that game?
I have this one as a loss.
You have it as a loss? Is that what you said?
Yes, a loss.
I have it as a win.
I have it as a win as well. I think that I think we can go up to Minnesota. Kirk Cousins does not scare me, and I think we can have a lot of fun up there and beat them. This is the part of the season though that really concerns me. It's these next 3 games that really worry me. These 3 straight road games that I guess the NFL was worried the Phillies were going to be making a late postseason rush, so they didn't want to have double scheduling with the Eagles and Phillies playing at home in South Philly, but I don't think they have to worry about that. But at any rate, it is what it is. And right now, so we've got I still think they beat the Vikings. My concern then is the next 2. I have them splitting with Dallas, and I have them losing this first game. How about you guys? Sunday night down in Dallas.
I have them splitting as well, but I have them winning this game and then losing the later game because I think Dallas will have more to play for in the later game than we will.
Okay.
But yeah, I have us winning this game.
I have us winning this one too.
Okay. All right. So, and then week 8 up in Buffalo. This just smells like classic trap game for me. This is like the 3rd game on the road against a non-conference opponent, against a team that you should beat. I have this as a loss, and this is why it concerns me, is especially if they lose the week before. Now you guys both have them winning the week before. But if they lose the week before, it really sort of concerns me that we're going to drop this. We're going to drop 2 in a row with this. But that's sort of where I see it. Please talk me down off this ledge, guys.
Well, see, I have it going the opposite way. I feel like that they see it coming, and they were going to lose that Vikings one, but then they're going to turn it up with the Cowboys and the.
What do you say, Steven?
I have this as a win as well, just because Buffalo's bad.
Okay. Hey, maybe that's the way it turns out, and all my fears are taken away.
Right, but I mean, looking at it now that you mentioned, I do have now they've won all 3 of those road games, which is kind of that'd be quite a feat if they did that. Yeah,
and if they do that, then I think that the league's going to be on notice that this team is for real. Yeah. I have them going 1-2 over this stretch. Craig, I guess you have them going 2-1, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So I'm the Debbie Downer on this one, I guess. I have them going. I have them at 5-3 at the halfway point. Steven, you have them 7-1.
Yep.
Okay. And Craig has them 6-2. So I'm Debbie Downer so far. I could see them winning the Dallas game, and then, like you said, losing maybe the later one. That's for whatever reason we seem to usually beat them down there and then lose up at home. So that could be possible. I just figured we're not going to sweep Dallas, so I assumed that the more likely loss was the one on the road, but I could see that going the other way around. All right, starting the second half of the season. Up against the Bears at home, I have them winning this game. Mitch Trubisky on the road doesn't scare me. Does he scare you guys?
I have them losing this game.
You do?
I do as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, all right. So this is where I'm the optimist, and you guys are both the pessimist. Is it just the defense that scares you? Because it can't be Trubisky.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say there's definitely a revenge factor that they'll have.
Good point.
Obviously, Nagy is still like obsessed with the double doink. He's brought in like 9 or 10 kickers or something like that to try out. I think he's just been like obsessed about it, and I think he'll get his team And I think us coming off 3 wins and then going into the bye week, we might be thinking about what we're doing on our vacation more than we're thinking about the lowly Bears and Mitch Trubisky, and then they come in more fired up than we expect them to.
That's possible. And if they do end up, if you're right and they win all 3 of those road games, then absolutely, I think this is a letdown game before the bye.
Yeah.
I could completely see that happening. I just think that they're going to have the letdown the week before, so this is the game they're going to come back in and firing on all cylinders because of it, and they're going to roll the Bears.
Yeah, I could see it going both ways, definitely.
I could see I between this and the Buffalo game, I think we'll probably win one and lose the other. And obviously, of the two, I'd rather win the Bears game just because it's in conference and it's at home. So I have them winning this, but you guys have them losing. Then we go to the bye, and we have the Super Bowl 52 rematch with the New England Patriots, 4:30 home game, national audience, I'm sure, because it'll be I guess CBS will have this game probably, and they'll want to try and maximize the rematch part of it. I have this as a win. How about you guys?
I have it as a win as well. There's no, even though we won the Super Bowl, it was they've won a Super Bowl in between that, so there's no revenge factor there. We have, I think, our upfront pressure in Tom Brady's face is going to help us. So yeah, and we're coming off the bye. All those things together. It's a home game. I give us a win. Plus, Doug Peterson owns Bill Belichick.
All right, so Craig, after you checked your security and you're securing your perimeter there at your house, are they beating the Patriots at home?
No, they're losing.
You think they lose this game?
Yeah.
All right.
I just have that like, yeah, that feeling. I don't know. I think that the games between both sides of the bye, I think it's more or less a position thing than it is like who they're playing. I think it's like the game before, after being away for 3 games, it's kind of like they just want a break, and then afterwards there's like that rusty start when the Patriots just be like Patriots,
Yeah.
They'll deflate some balls and throw them really far and
Yeah, I guess I could see that. All right, then we move on to the next Sunday night, playing at home against the Seahawks. Win or loss on this game?
I have a win.
Yeah, I think home field advantage is huge in this game, and so I'm giving us a win. Plus, they've had our number the last couple years, and so maybe we'll be up a little bit more for them, and I think this is a win as well.
I would agree with that. I think we win this game, and I think that's for all the reasons you guys said. The next week we go down to Miami, which would be a great road trip. The first week of December, going to Miami and getting some warm weather to watch a game. If there was one game I was going to pick to do a road trip for, this would be it. So the Eagles, are they going to have any problem with the fish down there?
No, that's a win.
Yeah,
I have them winning too.
Yeah,
that'll be another case where it's really a home game for us.
Very well could be. That's true.
It has been before, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so then we return home for Monday night against the G-Men, and I think if you look at you guys looked at my breakdown for the division, I think the Giants and Washington are both going to be dreadful this year. Yeah. So I think we beat the Giants. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I have them winning just because I don't think the Giants can.
Will Daniel Jones be playing by this point, or are we still going to have Eli face?
I don't know. Are they still talking about trading him, or is that like out the window?
Oh no, they're not going to trade him. Who would want him?
True.
But I think Daniel Jones is probably playing by this point.
Somebody might be trying to win the Grey Cup that might need him.
I think CFL's done by this point.
No.
So, Steven, you agree, right? Eagles win?
Yes. Yeah, I have a sweep in the Giants.
Yeah. Week 15, this is crazy finish to the season with 4 straight division games. By the way, that's the first game against the Giants is week 14, which is crazy. Week 15, we play down here in Washington You guys worried about that game?
I have them winning that one.
Yeah, I think we're winning. I think by this point we're playing to have a lock for either a playoff spot or the win of the division. I think that once you get to this point, we'll be neck and neck with the Cowboys. So we're really playing to have a better record than the Cowboys at this point than really concerned about our opponent. So that'll keep us up. And I think we beat Washington. Washington will have nothing to play for by that point too.
Yeah, I think Washington's done by this point in the season too. So I think that's a W. Week 16, home against Dallas. Now, you guys both said you think they win the first game but lose this one. I have it just the opposite, and I'm sort of in the camp of looking at the schedules. I think this game decides the division, and I think we seal it away with this one. So I have them winning this game, which is sort of crazy because then I have them winning 7 straight games here from Chicago all the way down to Dallas. But I think that if you're gonna win a championship, you sort of have to have usually one of those runs somewhere in the season, and this is where I have it. And I think that we sort of finished the Cowboys off. We clinched the division in this game here. So for that reason, I have them winning. You guys both have this as a loss, right?
Yeah, it was more of a 50-50. I think we'll win one, lose once, and I think we're a better chance of winning it early and then losing this one.
Yeah.
I mean, it could go either way.
Yeah, I think it could go either way. I agree with that.
I think we've clinched the division last week at this point, and now the Cowboys are playing for a wild card spot, and then in the following week when we play the Giants, we win because we're playing for a bye.
All right.
That's kind of how I'm seeing it.
Gotcha. And yeah. I have us losing the last game predicated on the fact that I think we've got a bye locked up.
Okay, you've already got it. Yeah.
So that's if you guys saw, I have this game as a loss to end the season against the Giants. It's because I have us resting a lot of our starters, and that we've got the bye locked up. At that point, we would be 12-3, and so that's for that reason I have us sort of sitting some guys. Maybe we've got hopefully we've got home field in that as well. And because if we don't have home field, then yeah, maybe we'd have something to play for.
I think the Giants are going to need to lose it more than we're going to need to win it.
That's a good
players actually think that. And the thing is, if they're playing, if this point they're playing their rookie quarterback, I think they are going to have something to play for to win because they want to have him have some confidence going in. So for that reason, I think the Giants are going to want to try and win that game. And it's going to be one of those games where their fans are going to be like, why are we winning? We're hurting our draft position. But the players don't care about that. And so I think, we've all been in those games, rooting for the team that we're hoping that they, we don't want to root against them, but we want them to lose for draft position. And they always win a game at the end that they shouldn't. And I think that's one of these games for the Giants.
So either way, we win.
They find so much heart.
This is true. So I have them at 12-4 then. So what's your final records then?
I finished 13-3.
13-3, and
I
Craig?
have 11-5.
You have 11-5. All right. So based on that, I know Steve and I have already said we have them winning the division. Craig, you have them winning the division?
Yeah. Even at 11-5, I think they're going to be better than everybody else.
All right. So for the standings for the NFC East, what do you guys have? I have the Eagles and Cowboys right there at 1 and 2, and a big drop off between. I don't remember exactly what the breakdown was. Steven, you've got my sheet there.
Yeah.
I've got.
You had Washington at 4-12, and then New York at 3-13.
Okay. Yeah, so I have a huge because I think I have the Cowboys at like 11-5 or something, or 10-6, right?
10-6, you have
10-6, yeah. So I've got this huge gap between us and the Cowboys, and then the other two, also ran squads that I think are going to be fighting for playoff position. Interestingly enough, one interesting thing I will make one bold prediction. I do have Washington beating. If you look, I have Washington beating Dallas week 2. And that's based on the fact that I think Elliott is still going to be holding out. And that's going to be the game that breaks the camel's back, so to speak, with that. And Dallas has to actually give him what he wants. And that's going to set their franchise up for major problems down the road. At least that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
So sweet if Washington beat them and then they had to cave and give Zeke Elliott the big money and kill their salary cap. So I think that's sort of that's my one bold prediction for the season. And that ultimately then could come back and haunt them if we end up winning the division the way I have us winning the division. So you guys want to take a stab at NFC East standings?
I mean, I think
we all agree that it's us and Dallas, and then the other two are.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all in agreement to that. I mean, number wise, I don't know, but I think we're going to be number one, and then like Dallas would be somewhere. I mean, them losing and winning that game in the last week could be. I don't know if I have them 11-5. I just think the Eagles are still going to be number one by the end of it, no matter what.
Yeah.
Happens. So. And plus, I want them to be number one, so I feel like it's going to happen.
Gotta love those predictions. I'm going to win because I want them.
Because I want them to.
You never lose when I don't want them to.
Steven, what do you think?
Yeah, I came out with very similar numbers to you. I have the Cowboys doing a little better than you did. I wasn't factoring in Ezekiel Elliott so much. I'm assuming that he's going to come back and that he's good even as much as we don't like him. So I have them actually finishing at 12-4, so just a game behind us.
Oh, okay.
Then I also have Washington 4-12 and Giants 3-13.
Okay.
So.
Unless Wentz gets hurt, which obviously is always a question. Whenever you're talking about a team that's a title contender, if they lose their quarterback, that's probably going out the window. So unless he gets hurt, how far do you think the Eagles can go? How far do the Eagles have to go this season for you to consider it a success?
I'd say NFC Championship game.
Getting to the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like since they won the Super Bowl already and they still have the same kind of like foundation more or less, I feel like it would be a fail if they don't make the Super Bowl again, just because I feel like they're still at position. But I don't feel like if they make the playoffs and they go like the NFC Championship game and they lose there, that's just kind of like they tried and everything. It is hard to make Super Bowl, but I feel like they're in that position where they should, like going in, they should be like, we're going to go to the Super Bowl. They should be like, let's try to make the playoffs and see what happens.
I kind of come down sort of in between the two of you. I agree that Steven's right. They've got to at least make the NFC Championship game. And then at that point, it's where is that game played? If it's played in Philly, then I think we've got to win that game and you've got to get to the Super Bowl. If we end up losing a game down in New Orleans or out in LA or down in Atlanta or someplace like that, then you know what? It is what it is, and I'm not going to be as upset. I'll be upset, but I'm not gonna kill them and say they choked. If they lose a game at home at the Link for the NFC Championship game, then I'm going to criticize them. So I think that's sort of what it depends on, is where is that NFC Championship game played. And then, so if they do get to the Super Bowl, anyone want to take a stab at who they're playing from the AFC? Is it a rematch with the Patriots again?
I don't see how the Patriots can't make it. Just anymore.
I'm so sick of the Patriots. I just want to see someone else at this point. Anyone want to go out on a limb and say we're going to have an Eagles-Browns Super Bowl?
I can't believe that. I can't.
There's a lot of people touting the Browns this year. I don't know. I think they could win that division. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
I tell you, the Super Bowl I would love to see, and that's a matchup of coach and assistant and former assistant. Not the one you're probably thinking of.
No.
Not the Chiefs.
No.
I want to see Doug go up against his former assistant, Eagles Colts.
Oh, okay.
So I think that could be an interesting game. And Andy Reid's gonna choke in the AFC Championship game. We know that. There's no way the Chiefs are getting to the.
You don't even have to watch.
We don't have to watch it. If the Chiefs are in the AFC Championship game, just pick the other team. Just pick the other team. You know that whoever it is going to outcoach Andy.
The Chiefs will all the way up to have home field advantage.
Yeah, last year they had a home field advantage and they lost. Yeah, Andy Reid's record at home in championship games is not good.
Coaching. That's why I don't think the defense is good.
Say that again.
I said you can't change coaching. You know, they're already who they are. You know,
This is true.
so it's going to be the constant of that. Sadly, I mean, I like Andy Reid, but
Yeah, he was good for us for a lot of years, but he always seemed to come up short when it really, really mattered the most. One other question that I didn't put on your thing, but I saw it. I got a notification from the Eagles that they're having people vote on the best play in Eagles history. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
So they're and I think the 4 choices were, correct me if I'm wrong on this, Steven. The 4 choices were the Philly special, the Brandon Graham strip sack in the Super Bowl, the Miracle at the Meadowlands 2, where Deshaun Jackson runs the kickback, and what's the 4th one?
The Bednarik.
Oh, the Bednarik hit in the 60 championship game.
Yeah.
So of those 4, which do you think is the best Eagles play in history?
Philly special.
Philly. What do you say, Craig? Bednarik.
Yeah.
You going old school?
Yeah.
I got the old school hat on.
I mean,
So yeah.
It just has so much like I don't know. I mean, it has to be the Philly special.
None of us were alive for the Bednarik.
That's the thing. That's why it has so much like history about it
Because it's still people still talk about it today. It's a good point.
They thought he was dead. You know, they like. You know what I mean? Like it's a classic.
Yeah, of course. I'm going to pick. I actually disagree with you guys on the Philly special. I know Philly special is what everybody remembers, but the play for me that won the Super Bowl was the Brandon Graham strip sack, and that was the one that after that play, I was like, we're going to win this game, and like you still were hopeful after the Philly special, but after the strip sack, like you knew it was happening at that point, and I'll still never forgive myself for the fact I was looking at my phone when it happened, texting someone back where they were like looking good, and I was texting them back, there's too much time for Brady, when you guys went nuts because you saw the play and I didn't see it happen.
Oh man!
So that's my one regret in life when I'm on my deathbed and they say, "What's your biggest regret in life?" I'll be like, "I wasn't watching the TV when Brandon Graham made the strip sack on Tom Brady." So that will be my one regret in life. So, guys, this has been a lot of fun. I really enjoyed spending some time with you talking Eagles football. And for the fans out there, let's go ahead and say it: Fly, Eagles, fly!
I was gonna do the cheer.
All right.
Thank you.
Eagles fly, guys.
All right.
Thanks a lot. So there you go. Those are our predictions for how we think the Eagles are going to do this season. Let me know in the comments below, what's your prediction for the season? Where do you think the Eagles finish in terms of a record? Let me know in the comments below. I'll be checking in next weekend with my prediction video for the very first Eagles game as we open up the season against Washington. Until then, fly, Eagles, fly.